And welcome back to another podcast of Homefront Harmony. I am your host, Stevie Dahl, and I couldn't be more excited about today's guest. Not only do I consider him a friend, but I know he is a friend to military families, and I am so thankful for him. So allow me to introduce you to B. Taylor.
Hey, Stevie. How you doing?
I'm good, B. How you, babe?
Pretty good. This is awesome. I like this.
Thank you. Would
awesome.
you please tell my audience a little bit about who you are?
Man. I'm a former from Peoria, Illinois.
Okay.
Grew up. My dad is Reverend in ministry, but he worked for Caterpillar, CAT, which is headquartered in Peoria and State Farms down the street in Bloomington. So I grew up a CAT. He was in public affairs, and Mom was over the youth choir and in church. So grew up playing instruments and studied in school and was an athlete, a student athlete that had some opportunities to further myself in college, and I ended up attending the University of Missouri. Playing football and basketball at Mizzou and studying engineering, got an engineering scholarship, and studied there, and then decided to transfer. And when I transferred, my transfer kind of got messed up when I wanted to transfer to Florida State. So I met some Navy guys at the time that were recruiters, said, hey, man, you can join ROTC, the Navy, still play sports, finish your degree. So I went that route, and when I tested into the Naval nuclear engineering program. And so from that, and so when I was going that route, I thought I got ROTC, and it messed up and didn't go. It ended up being active duty.
Oh, wow.
So my dad was just like, hey, just go in there, just finish out top, and, God will work it out for you. So get in. I'm in the military, going through, and then about week 6, I was over my division. It's called your division. I remember 044 was my division, and so I was over all these guys, and so about week 6 in, my chiefs and RDCs came and they said, hey, man, we need to talk to you. We didn't know you were a college athlete. We found out from Washington. It kind of made its way. I've played sports and everything, and I was like, yeah. They're like, well, when you get out of here, you're going to go to your A school, because I had switched from nuke to going into the Aviation Electronics, which was the second job, because the nuke I was worried about so many years to give. So I switched to that, and end up going, getting done, testing in school. We went down to Pensacola, NATTC.
What's NATCC?
It's the Naval Aviation Command for so
keeping you guys in check.
The Navy, the Naval Aviation Training Command and stuff. And so went down there, served with Marine Corps, finished top in school, and then was finishing the top of my school. I get a command. One of my command master chiefs was like, hey, you need to see the commanding officer. And when you're young to see the commanding officer, you thinking you're in trouble.
You got sent to the principal's office.
Right. So I'm thinking oh, man. He was like, look, Taylor, we know about you. You're finishing top. The Secretary of the Navy and the CNO, Chief of Naval Operations, are coming in with their aides and Secret Service, and you're touring them for the school. You're going to tour this whole base, and you're the lead tour guide.
Oh, my gosh.
Nervous as heck. So I'm getting my uniform together, and, because this is the Secretary of the Navy from the Pentagon and Chief of Naval Operations. So, they come, and, I had never seen aides and Secret Service. I never seen that before in my life. So I'm, nervous, sweating. I'm just E3. At the bottom of the totem pole, and so I'm touring them on the school, both of them, and then we end up playing a command basketball game, because the second nav was an avid basketball fan. So he loved basketball. And so I ended up playing the basketball game, and I guarded him. I blocked this shot on game point because it was competitive of me. So I remember everyone was like, what are you doing blocking the Secretary of the Navy shot? And he was like, I was nervous, but that was the competitive nature by me. And he's like, no, this guy, this is what the Navy needs. He's representative. I'm glad he blocked my shot. And he said, look, we're going to have lunch after this. So, I get done, we go to lunch. He sits me down with the SECNAV. He said, I heard you want to play sports and continue. He said, look, we're going to have you go into service. Your rate is critical. You're going to serve. This war going on. You're going to serve. And, but we'll pull you back. I want you to play. I'm going to nominate you to play on the All-Navy and the Military Team USA. And then I'm going to also if you go to football, do you want to go to the Naval Academy? And I was like, well, that's so many years, sir, the Naval Academy and the war is going on. So can I play on the All-Navy Team USA? But I would love to try out for football if I could. He said, okay, you got 3 options. You can go back home to Chicago, Peoria, where you're from. Chicago, you have the Bears. He goes, you can stay down here in Florida and go to Jacksonville, where you have the Jaguars, or you can go to California to go to San Diego.
Okay.
So my head was like, man, I'm going to San Diego. I'm going to California, the palm trees, right? I'm going to California, man.
Right.
So I go through the war. They pull me back. I play on the All-Navy and the Team USA. I get stationed. I drive cross country, see my family, drive to Illinois, stop there from Florida when I get back, and then I drive down to San Diego. I get there. I check in Thursday evening. So then I check in my warrant. He's like, look, I need you back here by Monday and be ready to go. You're going to be reporting to me and everything. And we've got this letter, from the Secretary of the Navy. You're going to report to me, and this is what's going to happen. So I go Friday. One of my buddies is like, hey, let's go to Hollywood. We're in our uniforms. Let's go to Hollywood. He's like, man, he was like, he knew a couple Charger girls. And so they get in the drop top. We're in the Navy.
It looked
like some Tom Cruise thing, me and Justin, man. We look like the Tom Cruise Top Gun
I love it.
situation. We coasting down.
Were you in the whites?
Yeah, in the dress whites.
We're
in the dress whites. We're going down to 405, thinking we the stuff with the glasses and the two. It was some movie stuff, man. So we going down to 405. We get to Hollywood. I'm in LA, and I grew up in church playing instruments. So I play these instruments. So there was a piano, and so little did I know I'm playing different songs. But then I start playing Stevie Wonder's "Ribbon in the Sky."
Okay.
Well, when I got done, this guy comes up to me, a black guy. He had a huge afro. He's like, "Hey, man, my name is Bing." And my brother is an icon, and my mom's in the back. They heard you playing. There's a studio, there's a session. Can you come meet him? So I'm like, we're in our dress white. So we go to the back. It's Snoop Dogg's mom, Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, the whole West Coast. The whole exhibit, like the whole camp, right back in the back, hanging out with Snoop. And, Snoop's mom's like, Bing's like, that's my mom's favorite song. Will you play at her birthday and wedding? I'm like, man, I'm in the Navy. I just checked back in. I haven't even been in San Diego for like 24 hours. You're going to have to call the base because I got to report to my warrant officer. And it was like, we got it. We got you and stuff. Would you want to play in the birthday and wedding? I'm like, heck yeah, man.
Right?
Snoop Dogg's mom. Like, you kidding me? So I get back Monday. I go in, my warrant officer is like, Taylor, have a seat. You ain't even been here 24 hours. We just get a call for you, requesting you for a birthday to play at Snoop Dogg's mom's birthday and wedding. What in the world? I said, sir, I just was in Hollywood. Me and Justin, we just met and we ran into it. They heard me play. He's like, what? He's like, you kid, you just checked in from letters from the Secretary of the Navy. Playing on All-Navy Team USA. You ain't been here to serve 24 hours, and we got Snoop Dogg and Snoop's brother, and you playing at the mom. I said, sir, can I play? He's like, look, as long as you represent, we're going to allow you to play. You mess up, I'm going to be down you like you've never seen. And Warrant Officer Barber, he's one of those guys, 30 years in, seen everything, don't smile, white mustache, that type of guy, hardcore. So I was like, okay, sir. So that's Monday. So Bing put me in the studio on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I'm in the studio in San Diego getting the music. I've never been in the studio, so I'm getting all the stuff ready for her wedding and everything, learning with the engineers. Group comes in, band. They're like, hey, you B. Taylor? I'm like, yeah. They're like, we're cut you up. Our band, our friends are famous. They're on a tour. They're getting ready to come over here, and you're going to meet them. All of a sudden, I had no idea. They come in, it's Blink-182, Green Day, and Jimmy Eat World. So my buddy, Jake Straw, who was there at the time, the head, they're like, and Jimmy, they're like, hey, you want to come be a part of this pop disaster tour and be our guest? We're going to be having this in 2 days.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, same spiel. I'm in the Navy. I just checked in. You're going to have to call. So Jake became, which is a close friend of mine now, and all of a sudden, I get there the next day. My warrant officer was he was like, Taylor, are you kidding me? we just got a call from Cut You Up, for the Pop Disaster Blink. They wanted you as guest for this. They're like, son, what is going on with you? I'm like, I said, man, I don't know. I just think the Lord has something for me, a halo over, and I don't know. He said, okay, we'll allow you to go. And so he said, other than that, you're going to be talking to the Force Master Chief at the time who was in charge of the Pacific Fleet. So I was reporting to him and the Force. I had a whole, because it was so unique, and they were mentoring me because, you know, for E3 to come and be at meet the Secretary of the Navy, CNO, meet Snoop, and then meet, you know, Blink 182, Green Day, that whole Jimmy World at an early part, young, that quick, you know, it was some guidance of how to operate and navigate this, and then trying out for the NFL at the same time, the Chargers, right? So it was like very unique. And so that led me to, you know, Junior Seau, rest in peace, as well, helping me get my agent, and Brad DeLuiso, who was the former kicker of the Giants, who's at Smith and Barney. He's a bank. He wrote a great letter, and they helped me to get in with the Spanos family. And then when it came time, it's like it ran in Snoop. They were like, man, you got some talent in music. You're going to have to decide. And so my parents moved out to Vegas, and I wanted to come and get a condo. And so I was in the golf resort, Painted Desert Golf Resort. And so I was there for one day. I was getting this condo and trying to go back to California. And the neighbor was like, hey, he said, hey, I heard you playing the piano, your keyboard last night. That was helping my wife. He's like, do you do music? I'm like, no, I'm going in sports. I just do it for fun. You know, I'm friends with different guys, Snoop and B12 and Eminem, all those guys and stuff. And, you know, I'm just for fun. And he was like, well, honey, what's the Motown legend that lives in here? What's his name? She goes, I don't know, but it's his wife. I just say hi to her. And he said, oh, I know his name. He lives in the back here. He's one of the Smoking the Miracles. His name is Pete Moore. As soon as my neighbor said that name, the car pulled up, Mercedes, and my neighbor was like, that's him.
Oh my God.
So we flagged him down. He rolled down the window. He said, hey, I said, Mr. Moore, you don't know me. I know you started Motown with Smokey. The Miracle's the first. I've done music for fun, chance to play football, play in college. I got letters and Navy. He goes, you know what, kid? Hold on. Give me everything you got. You got any music? I go, yeah, I got a little bit of stuff, and I got my package and everything what I've done in military sport. He's like, you know what? Call this number in 45 minutes. My secretary's going to let you in. Come down to the house. I go down to the house, getting everything together. I go in the house. He has this huge room of every award and every Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it's pictures of Sinatra, the Rat Pack, Marilyn Monroe, Michael Jackson, like just the list, and Grammys and just things that you see on TV for me, coming from Peoria. So he said, sit down. And he said, here, play this piano. So I played and stuff. And then he's like, let me hear your music. So he popped in 2 CDs for 45 seconds a piece of the 2 songs. He went to the first song, 30 seconds. The second song, 30 seconds. He said, who did the music? He said, I did. He said, who played all the instruments? I said, I did. He said, you what we've been looking for. You're my swan song. When Miracles to endorse, be the first hip-hop urban artist to ever endorse and pass you this legacy. Get your management and your father on the phone. And from there, I called my management from a block number. He's like, hey, man, where you calling? I said, hey, man, I know I've had a crazy life, but I'm in the home of Pete Moore of Smokey and the Miracles. Funny, he said my manager, who still is Sam, was like, get the heck out of here, Sam. This is Pete Moore. I need you to get the paperwork together. Be's our swan song, and we want to pass him this legacy. And a few months later, I had to choose between that and sports and music. Chose music. Next thing you know, I'm in my first studio session was Pete Moore of the Miracles, Bobby Rogers of the Miracles, Cuba Gooding Sr., the main ingredient, B.B. King, the Father's Soul, Aretha Franklin on the monitor from home, and Joe Jackson. That was my first studio session. Those icons.
Wow.
And that's how my career.
See, you never know where the military will take you. I'm just saying.
Right?
You never know where it will go.
Right.
So on this long, wonderful list of things we have, we have phenomenal football star, played professional. We have a Navy special ops, served your country. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. You have, of course, the talent with the singing and the music, which is phenomenal. And now you have this group, One Life organization.
Yes.
And it's where you and I align in passions in that support of the military families and everything they do.
Yes.
And I know you work strategically close, like with the Pentagon. You've partnered with them. You're an ambassador, correct?
Yes, I'm a Friends of the Military and a Goodwill Global Ambassador of Entertainment for our military veterans, first responders, and their families. I'm working directly for the last 15 years, since 2009, directly with the leadership of the Secretary of Defense Office, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs and Joint Chiefs, along with the Secretary of the VA leadership, and then our armed forces and VA committees of Congress, and using entertainment, music, entertainment, sports, my platform to highlight our military, our veteran community, our first responders and their families, to use those platforms to highlight any initiatives they have, and to keep the American people and the younger generation understanding that your life's not over when you start the military. It's just beginning, and that you have over 800 jobs. You don't have to just choose. You're not thrown out to go to war. You help aid war, and there's still the liability of something could happen in the military every time. You take that, but for the most part, you have over 800 jobs, and you can become anything in the military, and I'm a testimony of that. So it's been a great opportunity for me working with the various leaderships and chairmen and generals and four-star and secretaries to highlight those initiatives and help with our recruiting numbers that have been down, and help with the minority generation and the millennial and the younger parents, saying like, hey, we're not all in wheelchairs on the news and broken old veterans, what I mean? Like, yes, we have to highlight our PTSD and stuff, but let's highlight the positives of the military. I'm a product of that, and there's many others in the corporate world and sports who are product of what the military has done for them to become great.
Absolutely. And I mean, we absolutely want to focus on and support and be for those who have sacrificed to higher levels than some others have in certain ways. But every single person, every single family, every single one is important and have value. And you and I are very similar, because I always try to take a very positive outlook on things and find the positive of the situation, because it's so easy to get caught up into the negative of it. And what I love about your organization and what you do is it is focused on that mental health.
Yes,
and I know that you guys don't just do military, you also do first responders
and veterans.
And the thing is that I love how over encompassing it is, because it's not just a veteran who went to war who can suffer the effects of the PTSD. It can be the spouse at home while the veteran's deployed. It can be the children dealing with it, everything. We want to be able to have these open conversations about this stuff and make people not feel like they have to hide.
And that's what we do. You're right, Stevie. It's a trickle effect, that people don't see. And a lot of times your first responders, many of these first responders are former service members as well. So their complete life has been in the field of service and wearing a uniform. And people forget about that. When the pandemic happened, everyone tries to separate the military community over here, the veteran community over here, the first responder. But when the pandemic happened, you've seen everything come together. You had the National Guard coming together with the first responders and everyone, the veterans coming out of retirement who were medical. You've seen that whole community come together. So we need to stop, like separating them, and they're together. And so that's what I wanted to do with my 21 programs. I wanted to create high-end programs like these partnerships that I was able to accomplish, playing sports, doing music with EOS, which our national program with EOS Fitness, and Tom Brady, the TB12, Gronk Fitness and Gronkowski, and the different Guitar Center. The many partnerships that we have are with companies like Act One and, bigger companies, so that these military and veterans and first responders, when they come with me, they're getting the best of the best. I didn't want, where we do that all the time around the country, is like, hey, we might take something that's 20 years old to donate it, and then they don't work on it. Like, for instance, the TV, we have where we donate, we give furniture. I give new furniture because people donate, things that might be like a nice TV, but it's like 22 years old. So if it's breaks down, the company will tell you, oh, we don't even fix that anymore. We don't make the parts. So for me, I wanted them to feel like they're VIP'd. So when I take them to the NFL and they take pictures with the Lombardi Trophy and they're VIP'd and they get to shop at the NFL experience with our partnerships with the front office of the NFL, I wanted everyone to realize hey, I'm one of you. God just blessed me to be a vessel, to have the talent to go out, but I'm still a veteran like you guys. And when you guys come to One Life, everything is top of the line. There's nothing bottom of the line for all of our programs. They're top of the line, and that's how veterans should be treated at the top of the line. They don't give us old uniforms when we serve. Right. We get brand new uniforms. They don't give us hand-me-down uniforms and hand-down. So my thing is just keep pushing the measures and the walls to corporate America, to entertainment, the government. Like, you guys are here because of the military and veteran community. Without that community, there is no country, there is no freedom. And you see it a lot of times. Like when we had the stuff on Ukraine, you had people coming on television going, when is the president sending the military? The first time we got conflict, we're asking where the military is going in. Whether it was in Israel, whether it was in, wherever. When people were all on TV, corporate people, families, when is our military coming in? But as soon as there's not a conflict, you come back here, can't get a job, or you're giving us bum jobs, or we got to go through all this politics. Yeah. So it's like, when are people just going to do the right thing? It's easy to do right. It is. It's easy to do. It's like with the spouses themselves, you're a military spouse. Oh, you're going to move. I can't hire you. Right. Oh, are you missing out on qualified talent because you got a tunnel vision in it? Come on. Right. Give them a shot kind of thing. Yeah. And it's funny too, because I think that the assumption is a lot of children of those who served are going to go serve themselves. Right. Well, that depends on the individual you're running into, Yep. My sister and I did not step in. I considered it at one point, but it ended up being the path that I took. So the assumptions are what's killing us. Right. At the end of the day, they're what's coming into the problem. So for someone who deals in the world where you do focus on that mental health, that area, how do you help people know and understand and feel the safety that they can come to you if they're dealing? Because you don't always know necessarily it's something. Well, I incorporate, so I'm like hands-on. I'm not one of those guys that's in entertainment. Like, I go with the donations. I shake the hands. I'm sitting with them in the seats. Like, a lot of times you can get so high up in entertainment when you're successful that you kind of forget down, and you kind of like separate yourself where you're so bougied up. And so they'll tell you with me, like, I pick them up for the Heroes Experience. They're in the limo or the Sprinter van. They're VIP. I'm there. It's like, and so I had to implement, as a leader, you want to implement that style to your staff. You know what I mean? Like, hey guys, if I'm there, you need to be there. If I'm going 120%, I don't expect everyone to be my mentality. But if I'm there, then there's no reason for the people that work with me to do that, because I got the busiest schedule out of everyone. Right. So out of everyone, I have the busiest schedule. So if I can show up from my life duties to do this, if you're going to be a part, you need to, or this is not the right company for you. So I think when these veterans and these militaries, when they see that and be like, what? Bees coming with it? Like, bees coming to deliver the gifts, bees there. It brings me back down to them. And that's what I tell them. Like, man, I'm one of you, like, I'm just up here representing you guys. But, like, I put my pants on and get dressed just like you guys. It's just I have a different lifestyle that God's blessed me with. But I make them feel comfortable in that. And that's what I wanted to set, Stevie, with the mode, and set with these companies and set with some of these people. Like, you're busy, but you're not busy when there's a conflict. You asking for when we're going to get it done. You're not busy when there's you're first one on TV or social media to say, hey, what are we doing with the truth? When are we going to get this? Just like if a problem happens right now, we're not calling, we're calling 911. We're calling first responders. If there's a robbery or an accident, you're not calling your next door neighbor, you're calling 911. So when we need something, we're very quick to call the men and women in uniform, just help and save lives. But when they need something, we're very bureaucratic and slow. Yep. We get, amnesia real quick. So I'm that guy that's pushing the buttons. And I don't care what position you're in, because I've had a life of success and, my resume and accolade speaks for itself. So me going into corporate, me going into government, I don't care who, when it comes to our children and when it comes to our heroes, they are everybody's problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's why I feel like God put me there, because you have to have that thick skin to kick a wall down. And I got a whole bunch of special operations security and friends that'll line up here, and they're not care to they don't care who it is to kick the wall down, because we're about what are we doing right. And so that's what I just try to stick to, Stevie.
I agree with you 100%, B. This is the thing. If I can be loud enough and if I can be the obnoxious voice that gets you to pay attention, then by God, I will be as loud as I can be and I will be as obnoxious as I can be, so you pay attention to them, okay?
Right.
I ain't got nothing to hide from. I had no problem being the center of attention. Watch me. Challenge me. I love it.
Right.
It's such a wonderful thing that I found, like what you have done in the diversification of options for people for the mental health help.
Yes.
Because like you said, some people react better with music.
Right.
Some people react better focused maybe on fitness.
Right.
Some people, I think you have an equestrian.
Yeah, we have
with the horses and everything.
I got the horses. We got the service. We just got a new person for the service. He's getting his puppy coming here. He's our second person going through. So I wanted, like you said, to diversify. Whether you have art, we have fitness, we got yoga, we got fertility. We've helped, families who can't have kids, come in and be able to help them with financials to pay for the fertility things, and big ups to my COO Kim for implementing that in with her background and that as a nurse practitioner. But we just got so many different programs, for if you need a house, relocation, we got, that for home loans and just I wanted to be a one-stop shop, not to be the biggest nonprofit, but kind of like Special Forces. It's a small unit, but does the massive amount of work.
Right.
The biggest impact, a small unit. And so I wanted to be like that in the nonprofit space, not worrying about trying to be the biggest, but being the best that we get things done. We always say that in our thing, GSD, get SHIT done.
Right.
GSD, that's, I'm that type of person. So, it's like, that's how I wanted to implement it. I feel like the impact is better and we don't lose anyone through the cracks.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be the biggest like the VA. I'm trying to help aid what they can't do and be able to be an impact with these high-end programs, so that when the veterans and troops and first responders come through it, they say, you know what? No, over there at One Life, they take care of you. They're about us. They're not trying to be the biggest, but they're trying to be the most impactful. And that's what I stress.
And I think it's great because it's not about the name of your organization being known. It's about those who need to know, knowing the name of it.
Exactly.
And I think this is little personal moment from Stevie to you. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you're going through. There's always a solution that can be found to fix the problem. Sometimes, as scary as it is, you just got to know where to go to ask for the help. Okay? That's what we're doing. We're trying to share this with everybody. We want everybody to know where they can go to get what they need to get. So talk to me. When you do your program and everything, it is focused with veterans and the first responders.
Right.
Do you get a lot of like the spouses and the kids as well that you help?
So the spouses and kids are free too. So it's for active duty, veterans, first responder, and their dependents. So so we get that too. We have everything. Like I love to talk about. We have an active duty. She's a beast, man. She's a Marine Corps officer. No, I'm like, if girls would line up with her, she'd get a whole bunch of girls in line. You think you tough in fitness? Go do this Marine. This girl is in Iraq. She's on the Team USA Bob. She's on our what's called my Heroes Athlete program, because I had that, but I didn't have a mentor. I had to kind of navigate this through. So I wanted to be able to help the military that are athletes who have an opportunity. So she's on the Team USA bobsled. She's going to be become the first female Marine to make the Winter Olympics ever. And she's in Iraq now. So she's training. She has 14 days and then she trains. She's in Iraq right now. She got sent. She's been in Iraq and she's training, and her season starts when she comes back. This is what I'm telling you about, and we sponsor her. And this is what makes my job so fun because I'm given opportunities to help, for those higher ups who helped me.
Yeah.
When I didn't have someone, a mentor to navigate through the Navy and being in football and music. So the higher ups helped me, but I was able to be that. And so I'm able to mentor her, and she's part of our program so that she can, 20 years down the line, 10, 15 years, she can be like, oh, I can help this person because I went through this as an athlete. And for her to be, the Marine Corps is no joke. And for her to be in Iraq and be on team, she was Team USA, to make the Team USA as a Marine, and still, she's not like the other girls that are on Team USA. They're focused, that's it. She has a full-time Marine Corps officer job.
Right.
And then she has to train for Team USA. So just imagine her will and drive.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's insane. It's insane.
It's insane. So I love,
I do
Riley,
a podcast. It's really hard. Okay. So, the thing is that, like, for me, for the heroes, and as I call the spouses, the heroes on the home front, and even the children, the mentoring's key. Yes. Having someone who is who's gone through what you're going to be or are going through, to be able to have that conversation with, I think is so huge on the mental health stage.
It is.
And I think because it's safe, you don't feel uncomfortable talking to them. They can relate to where you are at. That's so key. And it breaks my heart there's not that many out there,
No, it's tough, and that's why I try to work with, I feel like all the service organizations and veterans, we just need to work together. I know it's tough because everybody's vying for different finances and different things, but, but I feel like if you don't try to do everything, send it over to someone else. You should be able to refer that military to veteran and help. Don't just, they come there and you're like, oh, we don't do it. Figure out and get a resource directory and go, you know what, this will work for if I can't do something, I can go, oh, let me send you over to Stevie. They handle this stuff. And I feel like that's what the community needs to be about sharing so that we can help those, in need and stuff. And so that's what Stevie, that's what I've done, just using my platform. Like I just did a new deal with, as you know, Dre's nightclub.
Yeah.
Victor Dre's, it's a staple. It's the oldest, longest serving Dre's After Hour nightclub in Vegas and one of the oldest in the United States.
Yeah.
And so their brand, Mr. Dre, he helped build a lot of these Encore B, Excess, these nightclubs. And so him, Dustin Dre, his son, and his cousin Mark Dre, Mark, the co-manager, they did a deal, with my production company, myself and other partner, Eddie Abrams, and we're bringing comedy because laughter heals.
Oh, it does
for everyone.
It's
so great because they gave me an opportunity as a veteran to use my platform in the night space with music and comedy. So it starts September 12th, 13th, 14th. It's going to be 3 nights a week. It's at the Dre's After Hours. It turns into a comedy club. And this is what I want to showcase to other military and veterans. Like, this is what we can become. This is the first time that Victor, Mark, and Dustin has ever went into this space. But what better and bigger brand than Dre's? They're in Dubai. They're opening up Dre's Dallas. And, for those guys, for, Victor, Dustin, and Mark to give a vet like me an opportunity, this is why I am a Goodwill Global Ambassador, to show our military this is what we can make a difference in. We can do monumental things like this. The Mandela car, got that coming. They sought me out. Deleka Mandela, we headquartered in Arizona, built the team up, built the board. It's going to be, I just received his signature July 2nd. I'm the first person in history to be authorized to use Nelson Mandela's authenticated signature sent by the foundation and his eldest granddaughter, Deleka, who's the co-founder. And she told me, she says, B, my grandfather was about education and he loved military and veterans. He was trained by the Ethiopian emperor. It wasn't with me with music. That was great. But it was because of my service and it was because of my education. And, for me, to catapult my, to top my career off, getting a signature. They sent a signature and it was framed and I was able to present it to my parents. And, my dad's looking, we're the only ones that have Nelson Mandela, to put this on an electric vehicle and stuff. And so this is what I try to work with the Pentagon and the government and the VA to let's highlight this stuff so that younger people and younger sailors younger Marines, younger Army, everyone in the veteran community can understand, look, I went through this same thing as you guys, and look where it's catapulted me, to Motown, to sports, to music, these partnerships with Dre's, these partnerships with these major companies, you know, the Mandela Foundation, one of the most iconic figures in life.
Right.
Next to the Queen, him and the Queen and the Pope probably would be sitting next to Mother Teresa. You can't get any bigger. And so for them, and it was all due to my service.
Right.
That's what it's all due to the service. So, you know, that's what I try to implement and highlight for another generation of veterans and military families, to take what I've done and keep it going. So